Have you ever wondered why some older adults seem to maintain a steady, strong heartbeat well into their 80s while others find themselves frequently out of breath and concerned about their next doctor's appointment? If you're over 75 and find yourself worrying about heart-related challenges, whether it's occasional palpitations, bouts of fatigue, or concerns about cholesterol levels, you're not alone. Many seniors today are searching for trustworthy guidance that doesn't require complicated routines or confusing fad diets. One piece of advice that's quietly revolutionizing senior heart care is beautifully simple: eating salmon twice a week. It might sound like just another nutrition tip, but there's genuine power in this particular fish. Part of the challenge, though, is that a lot of us grew up receiving mixed messages about what's heart healthy. We've heard everything from avoid fatty foods at all costs to just take another supplement. The truth is, as the body ages, certain foods can provide targeted support, and salmon is one such food that experts have placed on the short list of heart protective options. Omega-3 fatty acids, high-quality protein, and essential nutrients like vitamin D all combine in salmon in a way that's especially beneficial for older hearts. Why does this matter so much after 75? By this age, you've put your heart through a lifetime of work. It's pumped millions of gallons of blood, adapted to countless stresses, and carried you through every step you've taken. Heart muscle can become less efficient over time, especially if we're not giving it the nutrients it needs to stay strong. More importantly, issues like inflammation, arterial plaque buildup, and changes in blood pressure management can escalate once we hit our mid-70s. Addressing these concerns is not just about living longer. It's about improving the quality of those years. Heart health ties directly into your energy levels, your ability to do the things you love, and even your emotional well-being. Today, we'll look at 5 critical insights around why salmon can be a particularly wise addition to a senior's meal plan, especially after 75, and how it can offer a protective advantage for your heart. You'll discover that it's not just about adding more fish to your plate, but about unlocking a simple yet effective routine that can help you maintain the independence you cherish. Along the way, you'll hear stories of individuals just like you. Individuals who were once skeptical but decided to give this gentle dietary change a try. You might be surprised at the relief they found and the peace of mind that came along with it. As someone who spent years working with seniors on holistic heart-friendly habits, I've seen firsthand how even small, consistent changes can accumulate into meaningful improvements. I'm not here to suggest a dramatic overhaul or promise a miracle cure. Instead, think of this guidance as a practical, comforting step that respects both your taste buds and your budget. There's a reason so many cardiologists emphasize salmon specifically when discussing optimal heart health. It's a reliable source of what an older heart truly needs. Before we dive deeper, take a moment to think about how your heart feels on a daily basis. Do you notice a difference in your energy when you eat lighter, more balanced meals? Are there certain weeks when you feel more fatigued, perhaps after a series of takeout dinners or heavier foods? Paying attention to these clues can help you recognize whether your body is craving a change. By the end of our talk, you'll have a clear game plan for integrating salmon into your weekly routine. Even if you're unsure about your cooking skills or worry that fish might be too expensive or hard to handle, we'll discuss realistic approaches that respect both your finances and your time in the kitchen. If that sounds like something you'd like to explore, let's begin with the most important reason why experts believe salmon can make a world of difference for seniors, especially when it comes to safeguarding your heart. We often hear that fat is bad, and many of us grew up being taught to avoid it wherever possible. But the misconception that all fats are harmful can stand between you and a healthier heart. One senior I worked with, Frank, who was 77 at the time, told me how he used to think that any food containing fat was trouble. He'd spent years trimming every bit of fat from his meals, cutting out oils, and feeling guilty whenever he ate fish that didn't come from a can of water-packed tuna. Frank's intention was good, but the problem was he was missing out on the beneficial omega-3 fatty acids found abundantly in salmon. A lot of seniors are under the impression that fats is a single category. They lump everything from butter to vegetable oil to fish oil into one do not touch list. But here's the truth. Not all fats are created equal. Omega-3s, which are plentiful in salmon, have been associated with helping reduce certain types of inflammation that can contribute to heart disease. These healthy fats also play a role in maintaining a comfortable blood pressure and may assist in keeping the blood vessels flexible. When Frank finally embraced salmon, aiming for 2 servings per week, he noticed more energy and fewer episodes of feeling winded during his afternoon walks. More importantly, he reported his blood pressure readings looking more stable during his routine checkups, an encouraging sign for someone who once believed that fat is always the enemy. How do you put this into action in your own life? One easy step is to replace a traditional meat-based dinner, like high-fat red meat or processed luncheon meats, with a portion of salmon. Aim for about a palm-sized piece. If you're worried about preparation, consider baking it in the oven with a drizzle of olive oil and your favorite herbs. It doesn't have to be a complicated gourmet meal. Simple seasoning like lemon, pepper, or a dash of garlic can go a long way. The benefit isn't only physical. Knowing you're actively doing something positive for your body can be emotionally uplifting. You might feel less anxious about heart-related issues because you're taking a proactive step. Sometimes people worry about overdoing certain nutrients. Seniors often ask if too much fish might cause mercury concerns or other complications. While it's true that moderation is key with any food, salmon is known for relatively low mercury levels compared to larger fish like swordfish or king mackerel. As always, if you have specific health conditions or a unique medical history, it's wise to check with your healthcare provider. But for most seniors, 2 servings of salmon per week is well within a safe range and can deliver those essential omega-3s that aging hearts crave. Remember, the takeaway here is that salmon's good fats are a reason to add, not subtract. These fats help your heart, your energy levels, and in many cases, your overall sense of wellness. If you're going to try just one change to support your cardiovascular health, don't let an outdated fear of fats hold you back from discovering how salmon can give your heart a new lease on life. Another stumbling block for many seniors is the idea that fish, or any fresh, high-quality food, must be prohibitively expensive or difficult to obtain. I once worked with Barbara, 82, who lived on a tight budget and believed that heart-healthy foods like salmon were simply out of reach. She'd say, "That's a luxury. I can't afford salmon every week." Yet she was also spending money on processed frozen meals that were convenient, but contributed to her high sodium intake and concerns about her heart's health. It's easy to see why this misconception persists. Fresh salmon fillets at some grocery stores can carry a higher price tag. The good news is that there are more affordable routes. Frozen salmon can be just as nutritious as fresh, and canned salmon is often an economical option that still delivers those valuable omega-3s and protein. Barbara discovered that by watching for sales and buying in bulk, she could work salmon into her diet without blowing her budget. She started making simple salmon salads with canned salmon, a bit of plain yogurt, and some diced onions. A quick, tasty lunch that not only kept her heart in mind, but also fit comfortably into her monthly expenses. Seniors also worry about the practical side of cooking fish. Maybe you're living alone or with a spouse who doesn't eat much fish, and you think, is it worth the effort to cook a whole piece of salmon just for myself? The key is preparation in smaller portions. You can buy single-serving fillets or cut a larger piece into individual portions and freeze them. One method Barbara tried was batch cooking. She'd bake a couple of fillets at once, eat 1 serving that day, and store the rest to use in salads or sandwiches throughout the week. It simplified her routine and ensured she always had a heart-healthy protein ready to go. Consider that the emotional reward goes beyond just saving money. When you realize salmon is not out of reach, a feeling of empowerment arises. You're making a choice that could have a protective effect on your heart, and you're doing so with confidence that it fits your circumstances. It can be liberating to discover that the small, consistent changes, like integrating salmon once or twice a week, are sustainable, budget-friendly, and realistic for your lifestyle. Over time, you may even notice that by prioritizing foods that truly nourish your body, you end up cutting back on less nutritious items, which can free up funds in your budget. If you're already thinking about shopping for salmon, take a moment to think about your current grocery list. Is there a way to swap out 1 or 2 items that may not be as beneficial for your heart and replace them with a salmon purchase? Small shifts can add up to big heart benefits, and affordability doesn't have to be a barrier to better health. Before we move on, I'm curious. Have you ever considered the cost-effectiveness of fish compared to, say, red meat or deli meats over the course of a month? It's worth doing a quick comparison to see if salmon might actually be cheaper than you think. Feel free to share your thoughts or experiences with someone you trust, whether that's a friend, family member, or healthcare professional. You might be pleasantly surprised at the possibilities. Now, if you're still a bit uncertain about whether salmon is your best option, you might be thinking about all the other fish varieties out there. There's cod, tilapia, tuna, and catfish. Some seniors assume that fish is fish, so why bother seeking out salmon in particular? Margaret, who was 76 at the time, couldn't stand the thought of fishy-smelling foods. She also believed that since she occasionally had tuna sandwiches, she was already covered for her heart's needs. However, it's crucial to understand that salmon's nutrient profile stands out. The fish's naturally rich pink or orange hue is due to astaxanthin, an antioxidant that has been studied for potential anti-inflammatory effects. Salmon also boasts a higher content of omega-3 fats compared to many other commonly consumed fish. This can be especially vital for seniors dealing with age-related inflammation, which may manifest in aches, pains, or even joint stiffness. Reducing that internal inflammation can pay dividends for your cardiovascular system as well. Let's look at Margaret's experience. She decided to set aside her distaste for a fishy odor and explore different cooking methods. Instead of pan-frying salmon on the stove, which can create a stronger smell, she tried baking it in parchment paper packets with sliced lemon and herbs. By doing so, she discovered that the odor was far more pleasant than she'd imagined. The result was a mild, flaky fish that she found surprisingly easy to eat. Over a couple of months, she noticed less swelling in her ankles and a general improvement in her comfort level during daily walks. While salmon wasn't her all-time favorite meal, she appreciated that she felt less stiffness, especially first thing in the morning. She also loved the idea that she could serve something beneficial for her grandchildren whenever they visited. A meal that bridged the nutritional needs of an 8-year-old and a 76-year-old alike. One misconception many seniors have is that fish is only beneficial if it's fresh off the boat. In reality, flash frozen salmon retains most of its nutrients, and canned salmon is a valuable option too. Some older adults worry that farm salmon might have fewer benefits than wild-caught, or vice versa. While there can be differences in flavor and certain nutrient levels, the important point is that both farmed and wild salmon tend to have high omega-3 content. If wild-caught salmon is outside your price range, or simply not available in your local store, don't let that deter you from enjoying farm salmon. If you're hesitant to give salmon a real try, consider at least one new cooking approach. Maybe you can try poaching it gently with a few vegetables or cooking it in the oven with a mustard dill sauce. Experimenting with recipes that mask or mellow any strong aromas can make the experience more enjoyable. The key is to be open to new flavors and textures, especially if it means giving your heart the extra care it deserves. As you can see, salmon isn't just another fish. It's a nutrient-dense choice that can fit into many different lifestyles, cooking methods, and budgets. If you've been relying on a steady routine of, say, breaded fish sticks, consider that moving to a higher quality salmon dish could be a worthwhile upgrade for your heart health. Change doesn't have to happen overnight, but trying something new in the kitchen can be both exciting and beneficial for that hard-working heart of yours. There's also an emotional and social component to consider when it comes to changing how we eat. Let's say you're dealing with a partner who has different taste preferences, or maybe you're cooking for the grandkids and worry they won't appreciate a fish dinner. One senior named Carl, 80, felt he had to cook hearty stews and meatloaf because that's what his wife preferred. He avoided suggesting salmon because he assumed she wouldn't like it. Yet deep down, he knew that his cardiologist had recommended more omega-3s. After some gentle encouragement, Carl brought up the idea of salmon night once a week. He offered to learn a new recipe if his wife would be open to giving it a try. To his surprise, she was intrigued by the health benefits and the chance to try something new. They settled on making a simple baked salmon with a lemon garlic marinade, accompanied by roasted vegetables. It turned out to be a hit, and not just because it tasted good. Carl and his wife both felt a renewed sense of teamwork in the kitchen. They were taking active steps toward better heart health together, and that unity was uplifting. For many seniors, the emotional payoff of adopting a more heart-focused diet can't be overstated. There's a sense of empowerment in knowing you're making choices aligned with longevity and vitality. And it doesn't have to be a lonely journey. Sharing meals with loved ones, inviting friends over for a healthy cooking night, or even exchanging recipes with your neighbors can transform what might feel like a chore into a fun, social experience. When you see other people enjoying the same food that's helping protect your heart, it reinforces the idea that you're on the right path. In addition, a sense of control often emerges. Heart concerns can feel scary, and it's easy to believe there's little you can do beyond taking your medication and hoping for the best. But dietary changes, even something as straightforward as adding salmon twice a week, let you take an active role in your health journey. It might not solve everything overnight, but it can reduce feelings of helplessness. Looking forward to a meal that's both nutritious and tasty can brighten your outlook on the day. If you're still on the fence, ask yourself, do you feel a spark of excitement at the thought of trying a new way of cooking or sharing a new dish with someone you care about? That sense of curiosity and engagement can be a powerful motivator. If you need a bit of extra support, consider joining a local cooking class geared toward healthier meals or starting a small recipe swap within your community. By making salmon a regular feature on your table, you're not just strengthening your heart physically, you're also nurturing your emotional well-being and relationships. Perhaps the biggest concern seniors bring up is whether this change can truly make a tangible difference in heart health. The idea that it's too late or my heart problems are already here is more common than you might think. Linda, 85, dealt with persistent concerns about her cholesterol and occasional shortness of breath. She'd been told by multiple friends, at our age, what does it matter? This mindset, however, overlooks the remarkable capacity our bodies have to respond to better care, even in advanced years. When Linda started incorporating salmon twice weekly, she also made small adjustments like reducing sugary beverages and taking short walks more often. Her changes were incremental, but after about 3 months, she reported feeling less winded during everyday tasks like climbing stairs or sorting the laundry. She also found her posture improving slightly as her upper body felt stronger. Now, it's important to remember that salmon isn't a magic wand. Linda's improvements came from a combination of moderate exercise, mindful eating, and her existing medical treatments. Yet she credits salmon for giving her the confidence to stick with a heart-healthier routine because it felt like a manageable first step. Evidence-based insights generally point to the benefits of omega-3 rich diets in reducing specific risk factors for heart disease, like elevated triglycerides and inflammation. While each person's medical situation is unique, the principle of nurturing your body with nutrient-dense foods remains a cornerstone of senior wellness. The emotional boost from feeling in control of your health decisions can also help you stay committed to other beneficial habits. It's not about eradicating every possible ailment. It's about creating the best conditions for your heart to function as well as it can. If you're dealing with chronic conditions, high blood pressure, diabetes, or even minor heart issues, it's wise to consult a healthcare provider before making big dietary shifts. But don't confuse caution with inaction. Small, thoughtful changes like eating salmon twice a week can fit into many treatment plans without interfering with medications, provided you follow your doctor's advice. In fact, many healthcare providers appreciate when patients take an active interest in nutrition, as it often leads to better outcomes overall. So if you find yourself thinking, I've made it this far, does it really matter? The answer is a resounding yes. Heart health is an ongoing journey, and your body is capable of benefiting from improvements at virtually any age. You might notice subtle shifts like more stable energy levels, better digestion, or even a calmer mood. Over time, those small shifts can sum up to a more confident stride and a stronger heartbeat. Before we move on, I'd love for you to consider what small steps you feel ready to take. Maybe it's planning a salmon-based dinner this Sunday. Perhaps it's looking up a recipe you've never tried, or it could be talking with a friend who cooks fish regularly. Embracing the possibility that it's never too late can open doors to a richer, more fulfilling experience in your golden years. When we think about all the ways life changes after 75, it's easy to focus on the concerns: reduced mobility, new health diagnoses, or the unpredictability of everyday tasks that once felt routine. However, the 5 key points we've explored about salmon, from its beneficial fats and affordability to its powerful role in reducing inflammation and fostering emotional wellness, offer a roadmap for taking control of at least one aspect of your well-being. You've heard how Frank overcame his outdated fear of fats. Barbara found budget-friendly salmon solutions. Margaret discovered less stiffness. Carl rekindled a sense of teamwork at home. And Linda realized it's never truly too late to make a positive impact on her heart. Each of these stories serves as a reminder that focusing on heart health is not about bracing for the worst. It's about steering your life toward better days. There's a kind of urgency in the sense that none of us knows what tomorrow brings, especially as we age. Yet this urgency doesn't have to breed fear. Instead, it can inspire you to act now, while you can still enjoy the benefits of consistent, mindful choices. Imagine looking back a few months from now and recognizing that your energy has improved, or that you finally developed a favorite salmon recipe you can share with family. This is the kind of outcome that makes every bite worth it. If you're feeling ready to take the first step, consider a few immediate actions. You could mark your calendar for salmon night to ensure you don't forget. If shopping feels overwhelming, try a delivery service or ask a family member to help you pick out a good deal on fresh or frozen salmon. If you're curious about cooking techniques, search for a simple oven-baked recipe or talk to someone who has more experience preparing fish. Those of you who enjoy social events might set up a small potluck where each guest contributes a healthy dish. For those who want to go deeper, you might keep a little notebook or journal to track how you feel after eating salmon consistently for a few weeks. Are you noticing improvements in your stamina or a lighter feeling after meals? Share your observations with your healthcare provider at your next checkup. You might be surprised by how receptive they are when you show genuine initiative in your dietary choices. It's a way to collaborate on your health plan rather than passively waiting for the next prescription. Whether you're someone who wants to ease in or dive right into a new cooking adventure, the key point is to honor your own preferences and abilities. You know your body better than anyone, and you have the wisdom of years to guide you. Salmon twice a week is not a one-size-fits-all prescription. It's a gentle nudge toward a lifestyle that can nurture a healthier heart without demanding drastic measures. If you already have certain limitations, there are always adaptations. Canned salmon, simpler cooking methods, or maybe pairing a small portion of salmon with vegetables that you already love. So go ahead and embrace this small but meaningful shift. Think of it as part of your ongoing story, one where you remain an active participant in your own health journey. By choosing salmon a couple of times a week, you're showing up for your heart, your independence, and your future. That's a choice that commands respect, both from others and from yourself. If you take this one actionable step, who knows where it might lead? Maybe it becomes the first of many steps toward a more vibrant life, reminding you that even in your golden years, you hold the power to influence your well-being.